The Bell Witch haunting. Have you ever heard of a haunting so terrifying that it has become a legend for over 200 years? Imagine a family tormented by an unseen force, disembodied voices, physical attacks, and even death all happening within the confines of their own home. What if this terrifying entity wasn't just a ghost, but something far darker? Welcome to the eerie and chilling story of the Bell Witch haunting. What really happened to the Bell family in 1817? Was it a vengeful spirit or something much more sinister? The Bell Witch haunting isn't just another ghost story. It's one of the most well-known and scary unexplained events in American history. This haunting takes place in the early 1800s and continues to fascinate and scare people who hear it. People have told stories about the Bell Witch for years and generations, including many reports of strange events, scary appearances, and even murder. This story has become an important part of Tennessee folklore, and people all over the world are still interested in solving the riddle. John Bell Sr. and his wife Lucy moved their children to a quiet farm in Adams, Tennessee in the early 1800s. The family moved to a piece of land near the Red River and built a simple cottage there. They were originally from North Carolina. Things were calm on the farm at first. People in the neighborhood looked up to John Bell, and his family was pretty well off because they farmed and raised animals. In 1817, when the family began to notice strange things happening on the land, everything changed. It wasn't loud noises or ghostly figures that started the haunting. It was small things that happened. Before anyone else, John Bell said he heard strange banging sounds coming from the walls of the house. At first, there were only faint taps, but soon there were stronger sounds that sounded like chains being dragged. When the noises started, the family thought it was an animal. But as they got louder and more frequent, it became clear that something much scarier was going on. What started out as a strange bother quickly turned into something much scarier. The ghost got scarier as time went on. Voices that didn't have bodies started to reverberate through the house and talk to the family in a mysterious way. The voice, which they later identified as a spirit named Kate, started to talk to the Bell family. It made fun of them, insulted them, and said strange, often confused things. Over time, the spirit turned out to be a strong, evil force that swore to destroy the Bell family. At first, the strange events could have been explained away as one-offs or natural events that couldn't be explained, but the haunting quickly turned into physical attacks and mental torture. The spirit's main goal was Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter of John and Lucy. Betsy was hit and scratched, slapped and pinched, and handprints showed up on her body after each attack. Betsy would often pass out in pain from these attacks because they were so intense. The Bell family was scared, as you might expect, and they asked neighbors and friends for help. They also went to the local clergy, thinking that a religious figure could help them get rid of the thing that was bothering them. In 1818, a local preacher named Reverend James Gunn went to see the Bell family to look into the strange events. He and a few other guests said they heard the voice of the thing, and Reverend Gunn is said to have been hurt by an invisible force. But it wasn't just physical attacks that the Bell family had to deal with. The thing also seemed to batter their minds. The voice of Kate would talk about private things that no one else could know and make mean comments about John Bell's personal life. People said that the ghost could repeat talks from miles away, which made a lot of people think that it knew a lot about the world beyond the Bell farm. Andrew Jackson, who would go on to become the 7th president of the United States, is one of the most well-known people connected to the Bell Witch haunting. Jackson, who was famous at the time, was interested in the Bell Witch story and chose to look into the haunting himself. Jackson took a group of men to the Bell farm in 1819 to see if they could face the thing. The story goes that as they got closer to the Bell farm, their wagon broke down for no apparent reason, and the horses wouldn't move. There were reports that the men couldn't fix the wagon, and they couldn't keep going on their trip for a while. Rocks were thrown at the group, and other things happened that made them feel uncomfortable. This is said to have been caused by an invisible force. The story says that Jackson himself said he would rather fight a British army than deal with the Bell Witch's ghost. "I'd rather face the whole British army than spend another night with the Bell Witch," he famously said. When John Bell died in December 1820, it was the worst accident that the Bell Witch had ever caused. Before he died, John Bell had been having strange and painful health issues for months. He couldn't stop his face from twitching and his muscles spasmed. It was also very hard for him to breathe and drink. His situation got worse, and he seemed to be getting worse very quickly. People thought that the Bell Witch had cursed John Bell and sworn to kill him. On the night he died, a strange bottle of black liquid was found next to his bed. If a drop of the liquid was given to the family cat, it died right away. After the Bell Witch said she would kill John Bell, a lot of people thought that she did. The Bell Witch seemed to attack less after John Bell died, and the family was left alone. John's daughter, Betsy Bell, broke off her engagement to a local boy named Joshua Gardner. The spirit had been telling them over and over again that they shouldn't get married, which influenced her choice. The haunting stopped when she broke up with him, and the witch went away, at least for a while. The thing was said to have come back in 1828, almost 8 years after John Bell's death. The ghost is said to have visited John Bell Jr., one of John's kids, and had deep conversations with him about life, death, and the afterlife. People said the voice of the thing sounded the same as it did years ago, but it was clear that its power had decreased. The spirit is said to have said before it left again that it would return in 107 years. This was said in 1828, so the next time it would come back would be in 1935. But there have been no reports of hauntings since then. This has led many people to think that either the Bell Witch did not come back or the events of 1935 were not reported as much as those in earlier years. Over the years, many ideas have been put forward to explain the Bell Witch mystery. Some people think the spirit was Kate Batts, who lived next door to the Bell family and had a long-running grudge against John Bell. There were rumors that Kate Batts was a witch, and some people think that she may have been behind the strange events. While some think the haunting wasn't caused by a single person, others think it was caused by mass panic caused by fear, superstition, and the Bell family being alone. A different common idea is that the Bell Witch wasn't really a ghost, but a demonic entity that could take over people and change things. The brutality of the attacks on the Bell family, especially the physical and mental pain they went through, supports this idea. People today think of the Bell Witch story as one of the most well-known ghost stories in American history. People who are interested in the supernatural often visit the Bell Witch Cave, which is close to the Bell family's original farm. The haunting has been the subject of many books, movies, and films, and people are still fascinated by its scary story of supernatural terror. The story of the Bell Witch goes on in Adams, Tennessee. People who live in the area still talk about what happened during the ghost, and tourists still come to see the Bell Witch Cave and the nearby Bell family graveyard. The Bell Witch is a scary reminder of the power of myth and the mystery of the supernatural, even if you don't believe in ghosts. Was the Bell Witch a ghost of a person, a monster, or something else entirely? The Bell Witch story is still one of the scariest and most strange in American history, no matter what the truth is behind it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Bell Witch haunting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more chilling tales and spine-tingling mysteries. Make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the world's most terrifying hauntings.